Like you've actually mentioned, Google is basic, but it's basic to you. To a professional investor, Google is literally a gold mine. I can agree with you. Gmail, YouTube, all the other maps and all that, even if you look at the revenue contribution, they do not contribute a lot of revenue to Google. But there is one business segment that gives Google a firepower. Recently, President Trump called the big boys that run tech in the US and made them commit how much they're willing to spend over the next couple of decades. And Google actually say that they are investing over $100 billion in AI over the next couple of years before 2028. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our second episode of Alpha Brief. My name is Dennis Gigen Joroge. And last time we were here, we discussed about Uber on the demand side of artificial intelligence. And today we're going to be discussing a company that, to an extent, Bwana Ken, I feel it's very basic. It's very basic, or because it's very common. Because why Google? Is it because of their search engine, which is obvious, has been existing for years, or is it because of YouTube, which has always been there, and emails? So why Google? So why Google? First of all, thank you very much for organizing this. Number one, I had mentioned, I think in our Uber episode, that we have an investment theme. Under that theme, there's a demand side of artificial intelligence, and then there's a supply side. The supply side is literally the suppliers to AI infrastructure. Right. And then the demand side is literally the people that are, or rather the companies that are now consuming the AI. And Google is one of them. Okay. Now, Google has Gmail, YouTube, Gemini. They have Gemini. There's Google Maps, Google Play, Google Android, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like you've actually mentioned, Google is basic, but it's basic to you. Yeah. Okay. To a professional investor, Google is literally a gold mine. I can agree with you. Gmail, YouTube, all the other maps and all that, even if you look at the revenue contribution, they do not contribute a lot of revenue to Google. But there is one business segment that gives Google like a firepower, which is the Google Cloud. Now, we are here because of the whole investment thesis around artificial intelligence. Google Cloud is one of the very cloud computing platforms that is consuming a lot of AI infrastructure. Why? Because when you're running things on cloud, you need a lot of data centers. Data centers, actually these days they're called AI farms. Okay. Yeah. Because in a place like Arizona or Texas, you'll get very huge warehouses. And in those warehouses, you have what? You have data centers. Sorry, you have a data center that is full of computers, which is now being called AI servers. They're literally computers, but remember when it's a supercomputer, it's called a server. Yes, yes. Okay, Google Cloud is a computing platform. Okay. And by computing platform, I mean everything is in the cloud. And when you say it's in the cloud, it's virtual. Yeah. Right now, if you needed to run a business, you would need to have an office, you would need to do a lot of files, you need to do all those office work and all that. Yes. Now imagine all that. Yeah. You need to have a boardroom, you need to have notepads, notebooks, pens and all that. Now imagine Google has taken all that into a Google Cloud business package where you can literally have a company that is in the cloud. But literally, when it's the cloud, it means it's in a data center somewhere. So that when you call a file, let's say you're calling your budget forecast and all something like that, it is literally going and getting that file in a stored data center. So the more the business, the larger the number of AI servers, the larger the number of data centers, the larger the number of GPUs, the larger the number of chips, the larger the number of cables. That's why I said it's a whole ecosystem around the demand and the supply side of things. Google Cloud, like as we know it, we just see the YouTube side and all that, blah, blah, blah. But Google Cloud is literally the main business revenue for Alphabet. Actually, the company it's Alphabet.
Oh, it's Alphabet, the company.
Yes. The demand is increasing. They're also among the people that are embracing AI like very well. I think recently President Trump called those big guys, the big boys that run tech in the US, and made them commit how much they're willing to spend over the next couple of decades. And Google is among the few companies that actually say that they are investing over $100 billion in AI, specifically in AI, over the next couple of years before 2028. Wow. Now, when we say they are investing, what are they actually doing? It means they are modifying their platform so that it can be able to embrace artificial intelligence is data intensive, and it takes a lot of computing power. Yeah. So as a result of that, you find that Google will definitely need a lot of servers. And of course, the consequence is a lot of cables, a lot of chips, a lot of optical interposers and all that. Just for us to be a lot of electricity, of course, a lot of land. Yeah. And obviously, as time goes by, we'll be able to tackle some of these companies. So you asked me, why Google? Why Google Cloud? Because it's very squarely positioned to capitalize on AI infrastructure.
Wow. I think that is very interesting. And I wasn't actually thinking on that perspective. And I would like you to tell us, why are you rating it as a buy? Because from what I'm hearing, it's like rating it as a buy still right now. So, and what is the valuation of Google?
So as of now, the market is valuing Google at around $255 a share, at around 3 trillion, above $3 trillion. Now, something very funny is this, or rather very interesting is this. Google, for the longest time, has been among the top 5 most valuable companies in the S&P 500, right?
Sure.
And the market capitalization has always been above, let's say, $1.5 trillion. Yes. And this has been because of what? Gmail, YouTube, Google Maps, engine, Google Play, Google Charts, Google Hangouts, Google Meet, and Google Meet and all that. Yes. But you'll realize there's very little, or rather, the market has not been valuing, let's go slowly by slowly. The market has been valuing Google, placing a lot of emphasis on those Google. Yeah. But it has not been valuing Google based on Google Cloud. And now that AI is here and we're in the early stages of like the whole boom, it means that Google Cloud is expected to generate a lot more, because companies are now moving to remote work, meetings are now moving to virtuals, notebooks, like physical notebooks, are now moving to Google notepads and all that. With Uber and Google Maps, literally there's no other geospatial, or rather maps provider apart from Google Maps and all that. Sure. So you will realize that time immemorial, Google has been valued based on everything else apart from Google Cloud. A very huge portion of it. But now, the reason we are rating it as a buy, one, is because now Google Cloud is actually coming in as the main revenue generator for Alphabet. Yeah,
Alphabet is
there. And then number two, when you look at the fundamentals, clearly there's a lot of growth. If you actually look at the target numbers and the management guidance on revenue targets, you'll realize that the growth factor versus the sector is a bit high, because Google is aiming at 10% year on year the next couple of years. 10% for a company like Google it means a lot.
A lot.
I mean, for a $3 trillion company, it's quite a lot. Yeah. If I look at the numbers, valuation, actually the PG, you remember we talked about the price earnings growth ratio.
Yes, yes.
It's still below the sector median. That tells you that in as much as Google is still very huge, it's still trading below what the sector should be trading.
So it's kind of underpriced.
It's undervalued.
All right.
Meaning, as it's trading at 255,
Yes.
it's still not trading at its intrinsic value. So that is why we're actually placing a lot of emphasis on Google. The third, which is the most important one, is Google aims to benefit a lot from the AI infrastructure boom, or rather the AI boom.
Okay.
And like we said, our investment thesis is based on that. So we expect Google to grow a lot of its business. Google Cloud, Google Gmail. I mean, I started paying for storage, yeah, just recently from Google, because apparently when you're using and this is something very interesting. Apparently, when you're using when you exceed around 100 gigabytes of Gmail, you're supposed to pay for storage on a yearly basis. When you pay for that storage, it's because you're paying. There's so many other backend things that have occurred there.
Yes.
Now, have you ever generated an image using ChatGPT?
Yeah, sure.
Have you looked at how big the size is compared to a normal photo?
Yes.
Now imagine if you're moving towards the age of creating videos and photos using ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and all that, you'll realize that you need a lot more storage. So, of course, we are the ones who will create demand for Google, leave alone Google Cloud. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll create demand for Google based on the actions that you do on a daily basis, the emails that you send, the photos that we are attaching. Then Google as a whole will definitely require a lot of these AI components to be able to sustain your needs. I mean, for you to be able to show your AI,
clouds will boom more.
that is exactly what I'm saying. Because all these things are now in the cloud. You'll not be able to store your photos in your phone. Yeah. I mean, clearly, if you have 100 gigabytes and maybe one photo is taking what, or rather one video is taking 10 GB,
10 GB.
it means you can only store 10.
10 videos.
Yeah. But then if you have a cloud somewhere, you can store what, 1,000 plus. Yeah.
Sure.
So that is exactly what we're doing. That is exactly where Google is headed. And that is why we were saying that Google is cheap.
So basically, people are paying rent to save their file somewhere. Because that is more from the physical. If considering we had the tapes physically of videos and you're saving them, meaning you will occupy a lot of space. But with Google Cloud, people will require the Google Cloud to save their files and everything. So it's more like the rent is due.
It's a very interesting way of looking at it like that. But clearly, yeah, it's basically that, only that it's said in a very basic way. But clearly, yes,
It's very virtual.
it's very virtual. You have a business right now and you have thousands of files. It means you're literally going the Nokia way, and time will teach you that you need to adapt to change.
Yeah,
because your files will get messy, will get dusty. The companies that were previously in the business of storing your files are now going under and all that. At the end of the day, you will just have to find your own go. And that's why they're calling like a business workspace, because you are adding teams where they're collaborating on files.
Yes.
You can give permissions to people who you don't want to see the file, sensitive data, confidential data. You can be able to manage access. You're literally operating in like an office.
Yes.
But the only difference is that you don't have to be in a physical office to sign.
Yeah.
Because even the whole signing process has been digitalized in a way that it's so efficient.
Yeah.
It knows what is sensitive and what is not sensitive.
Thank you so much, Ken. I'd like you to give your final thoughts.
Yeah.
Then we can call it a wrap.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, Google is a very big company.
Yes.
It's a behemoth of a company at $3 trillion plus. Most people will say there is very little that Google can do.
Okay.
But remember, I want to echo the words of, I don't even know whether it's the words of, but I want to echo an article that I read.
Yes.
Tesla and their board of directors said that if Elon Musk is able to take Tesla as of now in the next decade, from whatever valuation it is, which is I think around $1.4 trillion to $8.5 trillion, then he will get the highest paycheck anyone has ever gotten in corporate America at $1 trillion. This tells you something.
Yes.
The next decade, right now, the most valuable company, and it's a very, it's not the best analogy, but I want you to look at it like this.
Yes.
If the most valuable company right now is Nvidia at $4.3 trillion, yeah, and this is the very first time we have had a company surpassing the 4 trillion mark. It tells you in the next decade, yeah,
Yes.
we will have companies worth $8.5 trillion. And I can guarantee you, Google will be one of those companies because for a very long time, Google has always been positioned top 10 in terms of market capitalization. Like I said in the Uber episode, when you achieve scale,
Yes.
you get a lot of optionality. Google is already, come on, who doesn't have a Gmail account? Google is literally a king of scale. Yeah, it has scale, so it has optionality. Right now, it can decide to sell food, and there's nothing you can do about it because it has scale.
Scale already.
Yeah, it has scale. It has the numbers. It can decide, guys, today I'm selling you something, and you'll buy because it has the optionality and the flexibility. And trust me, at 255, we are very confident and we believe that Google is undervalued. And that's why we are rating it a buy.
Oh, thank you so much, Ken. Thank you so much for joining us, our viewers. My name is Dennis Njoroge, and this is Alpha Brief. That has been our episode 2. Make sure to join us on our episode 3 as the head of research at Henriette Investment Management comes and help us break down another company on the demand side of the artificial intelligence. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.